we have 25 years, and I've been given this opportunity to talk about some vision science that we do here at the university. And when I was trying to find out how we can celebrate, I sort of contacted elderly people, and I was saying, okay, how about we do it the Indian way? And then they said, why would you like to do it this way? We have this kind of festivals, at the Olympic Stadium, but why would you like to do it at Polytechnica? It's a little messy. And I said, well, we use color in our research as well, but they were not convinced. So then I said, okay, so maybe we can do it the American way. And I said, no, you must be joking. We're not going to do that. We're not going to burn anything. That's against the safety rules here. And not possible. So then I was going back to my sort of ideas and say, well, how about we going to do it like in Rio de Janeiro? And they said, no, that's just too expensive, and some people may actually find it tasteless, So I was getting out of these ideas, and then I tried to say, okay, so maybe Spanish way. I mean, there is some taste in it, and there's color in there. How about, no, that's just too messy. There will be too many people probably hurt as well. So essentially, I was getting out of these ideas, but I was coming back to them. Okay, how about German way? There's no alcohol on campus. And then I was saying, how about the Italian way? No masquerades. And how about the Thai way? This is nice. They said, that's a cool thing, but you have to talk to the airspace authorities, So I was getting out of these ideas, and I didn't know what to do. And, I was trying to, with Henryk, make this event sort of like, not just European, but worldwide 10 years ago. But maybe we should go back into my roots, and to do it the Polish way. I mean, we are, in fact, in Poland, so why not to do it in Poland? And, I contacted some dancers, it was okay. Food, the fatty ones, it's good too, there was no problem. But I hit the wall, with the church, They didn't want to come here and concentrate this event, Apparently I don't behave well enough, And I don't know how they know this, but they must have their means. So anyway, I was getting out of these ideas, and I was desperate. And then life sort of paves its own way sometimes. And there were certain things happening that I realized that this place and those celebrations, there will be no jokes, no fooling around, and that we have to do it in a different way. And the only way we could actually do it is to honor a person without whom none of us would be here. So, who's that person? That person is Henryk Kasprzak, who started these meetings in 1999. So what I would like to do now is to get a little bit more serious and talk about Henryk. So, if we look at Henryk, this is his very short bio. Okay? Born in 1947, his master's degree in 71, his PhD in 80, his habilitation in 93, and a full professorship in 2001. And I would like you to take a close look at the picture of a professor. Maybe he's reviewing some thesis. Maybe he's reading a paper. But no. He's actually sitting in front of a convict with the presence of a prison guard. Because Henryk was not just a scientist. He was a human being. So, let's try to look at the past and what Henryk has done before his PhD. And as you can see from the background, we have some hologram there, and the topics, or these are actually titles of his early papers, they were all related to holograms. That's optics. That's not vision science. But then what happened? Well, he did his PhD in 1980, and he was actually more a mathematician than an optics guy, because he was trying to use optics to actually do fractional differentiation. And that was a pioneering work. I mean, the only thing that I have found earlier than his work from the 1980 was this work from 1977. And then I sort of thought, okay, is anyone actually using those sort of things? Well, these are just, you know, from the last 4 years, interesting citations of Henryk work. When you look at that, fractional Schrödinger equations in optics, photonics, crystals, Laplace operators for image differentiation, metastable soliton. Anyone knows what soliton is? Well, it looks like Henryk was not in our field, right? He was not in vision sciences. Anyway, so when we look at what happened in his early career, that's 1980s, 1989, so early postdoctoral career, he still continued here looking at applications of holograms and also interference, speckle sort of analysis. But from 1985 something strange happened, and maybe that was because he met Gerd, or maybe because he was working with Halina Podpierska, but he got interested in biomedical engineering applications. But at those times, they were not related to the eye. They were related to bones, like, you know, the thigh, the skull, things like that. So that's what Henryk was actually doing. And then, this is the most prolific decade of Henryk's work. He actually scored almost 9 papers per year. You know, I know that may not be much. But in those years, you know, 1990, now people publish a lot because they also, there's like this, I don't know, trend to publish a lot, not necessarily good things, but a lot is good for some. But Henryk actually published, you know, a lot, and it was good too. So that's a credit to him. And we can see that here, it's mostly biomedical engineering applications. But he started to look at cornea, the tear film, vision, accommodation, eye models, and things like that. So that's the beginning when Henryk sort of decided to move from pure optics via looking at bones and things like that to vision. 1992, that's the date that we can assign here for his first papers in vision science. Like you can see here, 1993, the first paper in OVS. Then the second paper in OVS, continuation of the same thing, a measurement of elastic modulus of the corneal bovine cornea, schematic eye modeling, and things like that. So, and we know that in 1999 he started the VPO optics meetings. So it took a while for Henryk to realize that eye is the thing that he wants to work on. 2000 to 2009, that's another prolific decade of his work. Not almost 9, but over 8 papers per year. But then when you look at what's happening in this decade, we can see that the topics are just related to the eye. Okay? This is his decade of working on the eye. And one thing here that I put it in bold is longitudinal eye movements, because this is something that essentially draw Henryk and myself together to do something interesting. But it's not only the eye. Those who can read Polish, you can read Polish, but I also provided you with some Google translation of the work. So he published the work on human rights monitoring theory and practice. Okay? And that's the other side of Henryk, which you may not know of. And I would like to share that with you to give you a better perspective on what actually Henryk has done. 1999, you've got those pictures also on the web for those who were curious. I don't know who got them there, but Matt is pretty good at that. Salvaging some. These are not Matt photos. I mean, Matt, at that time you were in school, right? Okay. So 25 years ago, and some people you can probably recognize here that are on those pictures. Okay, and then 2003, that was Mopani, the Kruger's National Park, and some of us were there. And that was the time when I met Henryk personally, and I met also Magda personally, and that's where our collaboration started. At that time I didn't know that it would be so close. In 2005, Henryk came to me, to Brisbane, first for the short visit of a couple of months, and then later on he came for half a year, and that's where we started collaborating on things. And I'd like to share with you one of these things that we collaborated that I sort of think that it is particularly interesting. This is a paper that we committed in 2007 about spectral characteristics of longitudinal eye movements, and it's got those sort of funny pictures. Some of you might be familiar with time frequency and combined time frequency representation is, right? That's time. But because some of you may have no clue, and if you now raise your hand and say, sorry, I have no clue what you're showing, then it's okay. Right? We are a family here. So let me go and explain this to you. So to do that, I'm going to go to a blackboard. Now you know why we use PowerPoints during lectures, not the chalk, right? It was taking a long time. Okay, so the idea now is that you've got a picture and you've got like 3 areas there, and you can probably recognize that on the top of that area you've got just a sine function, right? And then if we've got just one frequency here, then in this area we show that frequency, and we can see that there is 1.5 hertz frequency. It's got some arbitrary sort of unit amplitude, and then we've got this whole area here which shows time and frequency together, and that particular frequency is the same all the time. Right? Okay. Simple? I hope so. Okay, now we've got a little bit different picture, and in that picture we can see that we've got here a sinusoidal signal that is 1.5 hertz, then 3 hertz, then 1.5 again, and then half. And then when you look at the spectral representation of that, you can see that you've got 3 frequencies there, but you have no idea about their occurrence, right? But when you've got this time frequency plot, you've got 1.5, 3, 1.5. Okay, cool. Then what we can have a more complicated signal. This one is called frequency modulated, linear frequency modulated signal. Some people call it a chirp. So it's like, it started at low frequency of 0.5 hertz and went up to 3 hertz. And then when you're looking at the representation in the frequency domain, then basically you have all those frequencies together and you don't know what it is. You don't know that this is actually a chirp. And you've learned that in primary school. Right? Sure. Let's go to the next slide. This is it. Right? In primary school, we've learned that this way as we go, that's time domain, right? This is frequency domain, and this is a famous song. And and one can recognize it. No, but I'm the lucky one. And it's not that I can recognize it, no. But I have Marysia. Where is Marysia? Yes, Marysia is doing PhD in biomedical engineering, looking at OCT spectals and things like that, but she can apparently read that. Okay, so Marysia, I'll give you this microphone, and you can try to sing that to us. She's been put on the spot. She knew that something like that is going to happen, but she's never seen that, so...
Mi, re, do, 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 la, sol, mi, do, 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 la, sol, la, si, do, re, do, si, sol, la, si, la, sol, mi, do, 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 re, do, 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 la, sol, mi, do, 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 la, sol, do, re, do, si, sol, do, re, do, si, sol, la, si, la, sol, mi, do, 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 re, do.
Thank you, Marisha. Now, David, do you recognize this song? No. It's a waltz in Matilda. All right, thank you. Thank you. Now we know how to read this result. We are back from the primary school, end of lesson, and we can actually look at this result. And what you actually see here is this time frequency representation and of a subject which we called here, that's his initials. And what we do have in here is what's coming as a ECG signal, electrocardiography. And what you see here is your longitudinal eye movements. And when you look at these pictures, you know, in time domain, they look vastly different. In frequency domain, they look different. But when you look at time frequency, you can essentially recognize similar things here. And then let's go to another subject. And this time it's a subject HK, the subject of our topic today, right?
I know that one.
Exactly. And you can see that the same thing happened. It's just he's a bit an older guy. That TL guy was a bit younger guy. And essentially, what we have found is that, well, the eye is dancing to the music played by heart, and it's really a very significant result. And the significance of this result is not about how many citations we got from that paper, but have a look at the outcome, okay? The outcome of that work, this time that we spent together in Australia with Henryk, was numerous bachelor and master projects, PhDs, Małgosia Kostyszak, she's here, but Monika Taliereska, she's not here. Maya Rogala, she's not here. But when you look at those PhDs, these are not PhDs all in vision sciences, because Małgosia has done her PhD in physics, Monika in biomedical engineering, and Maya in mechanical engineering. So it's not only about VPO. Two habilitations of Monika and also Patrycja Krzyżanowska-Berkowska, who is actually a medical doctor. So that work has a significance, right? And it was Henryk's idea that other people could build on that idea. And then we had some follow-up of that idea, and we also showed that it's not just the longitudinal eye movements, but actually the whole dynamics of the optics. So all the wavefront operations are also closely related to our cardiopulmonary system. Okay, let's go back to Henryk and look at what happened in 2010-2019. I should say they're showing, it's a typo, it's happened to me all the time, okay? So that's an age factor. So slowing down, also the elder, slowing down, that's right. Why I said slowing down? Because he wasn't publishing 8 papers a year at that time, but 5. That's really a low level. That's why it's slowing. Anyway, but there's also time for him to start wrapping things. But he was more focused, right? He was more focused because he was working mostly on tonometry, IOP estimations, corneal biomechanics, corneal dynamics, and things like that. And I know that now he's got similar clock. Elspeth bought him when he retired. So this is a clock I would like Dorota to buy me when I get to that age. Okay, so then you don't worry about the hours anymore. Okay, so 2020 and 2024, this is now post-retirement, and this is Henryk in his full capacities at that time. Let me try to conclude with the greatest achievement of Henryk. And you can search for his papers, you know, we've got this beautiful thing like Google Scholar, but that's not what I would like to say, that was his greatest achievement. His greatest achievement really are these people. I was unable to get 3 photos there, and I apologize for that, but I've been finishing this presentation today at 5 o'clock in the morning, so I had no opportunity to contact some of them, but these are PhD graduates of Henryk. And when you look at them, okay, there are 2 CEOs of optics companies, that's Jarosław Jaroński and Tomasz Licznewski. There are 5 associate professors at this moment, and Agnieszka, Magda, Damian, Sławomir, and Dorota, and 2 assistant professors, Małgorzata, Marta, and Agnieszka. So that's the greatest achievement of Henryk, because his way of work, his way of thinking about vision science continues in the next generation. Thank you very much, and thank you, Henryk, for giving us the opportunity to be